Imagine the absolute earth-shattering chaos of a single piece of faded blue writing paper completely dismantling 30 years of carefully manufactured royal propaganda in just a matter of hours. For 3 decades, the British media and senior palace officials aggressively pushed a very specific, ironclad narrative that Princess Diana, the emotionally expressive, media-savvy global icon, and Princess Anne, the cold, traditionalist, no-nonsense sister of the king, were bitter rivals who actively avoided each other behind closed doors. But on a quiet Thursday morning, Charles Spencer dropped a historical nuclear bomb that proved this entire corporate narrative was completely, fundamentally, and unequivocally false. Before we dive into the cinematic, highly secretive details of this massive royal cover-up and the stunning letter that has Buckingham Palace lawyers in an absolute state of panic, please take a quick second to hit that like button and subscribe to Regalvora right now. Your support genuinely helps us expose these massive institutional secrets, and we truly appreciate you being part of this journey. The visual of this unprecedented reveal is honestly straight out of a high-stakes Hollywood period drama. Charles Spencer, sitting at a heavy walnut desk inside the breathtaking aristocratic library of Althorp House in Northamptonshire, retrieved a mahogany box from a highly secure vault buried deep underneath the actual foundation stones of the sprawling mansion. Wearing white cotton archivist gloves, a crucial detail proving this was a severe document preservation protocol. Not a casual family album reveal he turned an iron key into a brass lock to reveal a single sheet of light blue writing paper resting quietly on faded blue silk. The date stamped at the top of the page, August 10th, 1997. Exactly 21 days before Diana's tragic, world-stopping death in Paris. That single chilling date exponentially amplifies the devastating weight of every single word written on that page. But Spencer didn't just recklessly rush to the international press. He spent 48 incredibly tense hours working alongside a highly respected senior forensic document examiner from the London Probate Archives. They meticulously analyzed the ink pressure points and the unique handwriting consistency against hundreds of verified historical documents, finally returning with an ironclad, indisputable verdict. This was authentically Diana's handwriting, using her distinct black rollerball pen on official Kensington Palace embossed stationery. The shocking contents of this verified manuscript completely shatter the vicious media illusion of a bitter family rivalry, revealing that during the absolute darkest, most terrifying period of her highly publicized marital separation, when the elite British aristocracy had ruthlessly abandoned her, Diana didn't turn to a celebrity confidant or a high society friend. She turned directly to Princess Anne. Addressing her simply and intimately as Anne, completely devoid of any cold, formal, aristocratic titles, the letter exposed a highly vulnerable, desperate mother pleading for emergency help. Diana had intensely evaluated every single member of the incredibly powerful, calculating machinery of the Windsor family, and concluded that the only person on earth possessing the raw, unyielding courage to aggressively stand up against the ruthless palace bureaucracy and protect her young sons, William and Harry, was the exact woman the global tabloid press had constantly vilified as cold, distant, and uncaring. The revelation fundamentally rewrites history, proving Anne was her ultimate ally. The sheer logistics of how this explosive letter was transported prove exactly how utterly terrifying the palace environment had become for Diana in the summer of 1997. She was acutely aware that the central royal machinery was actively monitoring her daily correspondence, so she completely bypassed the official postal channels and utilized a highly secretive, informal network favored by younger aristocrats. In a move straight out of a covert espionage thriller, she specifically instructed her most trusted, fiercely loyal personal chauffeur to drive the sealed envelope directly to the sprawling equestrian stables at Gatcombe Park Princess Anne's heavily guarded private estate and deliver it entirely by hand to Anne's head groom under strict, uncompromising orders of absolute confidentiality. The palace screening machinery never even touched it. But what exactly was written inside that drove Buckingham Palace's legal department into a total panicked frenzy the night before it went public? Diana explicitly warned Anne that she had just uncovered a highly classified administrative document through a deep undercover source inside the palace registry office. This leaked file detailed a sinister, calculated plan by senior court officials to systematically strip away her global security detail and drastically reduce her personal protection, essentially forcing her to surrender her independent media operations out of pure physical fear. She terrifyingly described this legal maneuvering as a literal administrative trap, revealing that the king's solicitors were plotting to manipulate an ancient clause within the 1772 Royal Marriages Act to launch a ruthless private custody dispute, asserting the sovereign's overriding constitutional prerogative to completely control William and Harry's daily movements and education. Diana wasn't agonizing over her own vanishing royal status. Her absolute deepest, soul-crushing fear was the cold, unfeeling institutional environment that would violently consume her beloved boys if she were suddenly eliminated from their lives. She chillingly described the senior palace advisors as a heartless corporate board of directors who viewed her precious sons merely as functional, robotic pieces of state machinery rather than vulnerable, developing human beings who desperately needed genuine maternal affection. She practically begged Anne to act as an unyielding, protective, emotional barrier against these traditionalists. But the detail that truly sent cold sweats through Buckingham Palace was Diana's shocking revelation of an ultimate, devastating insurance policy. In the middle of the second page, she casually informed Anne that she had successfully hidden a secret personal repository containing over 200 highly sensitive original letters and private diary entries completely outside the impenetrable royal archives at Windsor Castle. Diana had given strict, binding instructions to her private trustees to unleash this massive, highly damaging archive directly to the global public if the central administration ever dared to completely block her physical access to her sons. The king's elite legal teams are currently scrambling through the night, desperately attempting to track down this hidden vault, heavily rumored to be concealed somewhere in Fleet Street, before another catastrophic wave of historical documents leaks to the press. Diana's haunting postscript, added right before fleeing to the Mediterranean, stated she felt her time to save her sons was rapidly running out. 3 weeks later, she was tragically gone forever. What makes this historical saga so extraordinary is exactly what Princess Anne chose to do with this incredibly dangerous letter for the next 3 agonizing decades. She meticulously locked her copy inside a fireproof, military-grade safe bolted into the stone wall of her Gatcombe Park study. Through every explosive documentary and tabloid scandal, Anne remained in absolute, impenetrable silence. She knew exposing a massive internal palace conspiracy during the volatile 1990s would trigger a catastrophic constitutional crisis, actively threatening her nephew William's future reign. Instead of a public war, Anne heroically absorbed the burden of Diana's terrifying secret in total isolation. Official records prove that between 1997 and 2005, Anne quietly adjusted her schedule to be physically present at Windsor Castle during William and Harry's breaks. She arrived without cameras, providing the grieving boys a stable emotional sanctuary shielded from toxic PR manipulation. When this bombshell finally exploded onto the global media stage, the reaction inside Buckingham Palace was pure chaos. The old guard desperately attempted to spin the letter as a minor family dispute, which catastrophically failed when Prince William completely rejected the palace script. During a tense phone call, William aggressively informed the king's secretary he would absolutely not minimize his mother's harrowing words. He boldly stated his profound respect for Anne's 30 years of unbreakable silence, leaving the ancient administrative machinery exposed to global fury. Polling instantly showed massive gratitude for Anne's silent heroism. A single sheet of paper permanently rewrote the legacy of two legendary women, proving the most powerful acts of loyalty in the monarchy happened entirely in the shadows, far from the paparazzi cameras. If you want to be the first to uncover the explosive secrets they desperately don't want you to see, smash that subscribe button right now. See you in the next one.